the building collapse that has happened, where a 12-story Miami condo building has left 4 people dead and more than 150 feared dead, as search and rescue efforts are continuing as we speak. But there's already a lawsuit that's been filed over the disaster. Now, if you haven't seen the video is basically all over the airwaves. So you just check out, there's a security cam. We're getting ours through TMZ, and they show a security cam, and you see the building just going straight down, and then the center of it goes straight down. Then next thing you know, like a couple seconds later, the side of the building just pancakes and just goes right down. It's just really tragic. So, you know, definitely our thoughts and prayers for the families, and hopefully that everybody, a majority of the people, can be recovered. But unfortunately, in this type of situation, it's almost like a 9/11-ish type of situation, how the building went down and kind of like imploded and just pancaked upon itself, floor per floor. So, you know, we're hoping that there will be survivors, so we'll wait and find out. But this lawsuit already has been filed. The class action lawsuit has been brought against Champlain Towers Condominium Association following the loss in South Florida this past Thursday, seeking to compensate the victims of this unfathomable loss. So according to the legal documents, repair needs had been identified concerning certain structural elements within the building, but allegedly those repairs were not done. The condo association is accused of failing to protect the people and property, quote-unquote, through the exercise of ordinary care, safety measures, and oversight that could have prevented the catastrophic collapse. So the suit is seeking more than $5 million in damages. And once again, this is a building that has at least 70 units of the 135-unit structure that just totally toppled to the ground. So far, 4 have been killed. As many as 159 people are still unaccounted for. Now, GPS, this building goes back 40 years, and there's a lot of talk saying that this was built literally around a sinkhole, and possibly, like, literally, this building had been sinking about 2 millimeters per year. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, somebody's getting sued majorly. We know this.
Here in Philadelphia, we had a similar issue with some houses built on some sinkholes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever familiar with a corner called 9th and the Boulevard.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Logan.
Wyoming. Oh, yeah, in Logan.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice, like, there are like maybe 2 or 3 blocks that there's just nothing on. And that's because those houses were built on I think it was a garbage pile or dump or something.
Or I thought it was like an underground, like a riverbed or something like that was underneath the buildings, and that's how it kind of started sinking little by little. I could be wrong.
Yeah. There was some of that, like a marsh water. It was still considered a marsh area. But you're right, it was also trash on top of that, which wasn't a good, strong foundation to start out with.
Yep.
All right, so these houses started falling apart, and eventually, you know, people got to get paid. They got to go somewhere else. But Bal Harbor, Florida, is nothing like Logan here in Philadelphia. If it's closer to anything, I'd have to pick Society Hill, Bennsport, anything along Columbus Boulevard.
Okay.
How in the hell? Because these buildings people are renting. You got to get yearly inspections. How the hell nobody's noticing cracks in the foundation getting bigger and bigger and bigger, or more water being taken on in this building somehow, some way? And over the course of, let's just say it was the last 5 years, nobody saw anything funny, strange. Maybe we should do something about that. Now it'll be okay.
They probably did. I think the tenants said it. And plus, keep in mind, you didn't even add this on GPS. The constant storms. The salt water, all that stuff,
erosion,
all that stuff, corrosion, all that stuff was kicking in.
But then my question would be, why haven't the other buildings fallen down yet?
Do we know that they are not covering up either?
Yeah, it's all about. I mean, it's some structures down in Philly. I'm not gonna mention I'm just gonna say leave it at my sister-in-law situation where she had a fire at one of her old buildings
Art museum.
And it was on the news. Yeah, thank you. And what happened was the building, they charged them sky high rent at this particular location. I'm not going to say his name. They charged them sky high rent.
Art museum. Sorry.
I'm just going to leave that.
Throw it out there. I got to throw it in there.
Throw it out there. So what happened? They had a fire. There. Find out they didn't upgrade the circuit box. So
that's a fire code, right?
Oh yeah, man, that's a fire code in general, man. But I told my sister-in-law, I was like, I don't understand this. These cats are making all this money off of y'all, charging y'all sky high rent. The building is old as hell, man. It's old. You know, they just recently took out the steam radiators.
Damn.
That tells you how old the building is. Yeah.
Holy
so
shit.
some of the spaces still got the steam radiators in there. And I'm like, yo, this ain't right.
Ooh.
So what's happening, the city is not really doing its job with inspections. I really got to blame the city. So Miami, whoever runs inspections down there, you need to get sued also. Not the people that own the building, but it's an all around thing, man, because if you're not keeping checks and balances in place, you will have a building that will collapse on you, man. And you know, it's a lot of entities to blame for what happened, but they only gonna go after the owners of the building. But city inspections and all that, like GPS said, they should have been on their ball. They should have been on their cues, man. You see a big ass hair fracture line going down the foundation walls. Yeah.
Hey, I wouldn't even call it a hair fracture. I just call it a giant crack. Simple as that.
That's what I'm saying. You could put your fucking arm into it. You could put your whole arm and leg into it, probably. Yeah. And you try to put duct tape on that shit.
Nah.
It's not right, guys.
Nope. and here's like another thing I'm finding out here through this other story through our peoples at the New York Post. Now, as I mentioned, sinking is happening at a rate of 2 millimeters a year since the 90s. Now, this is according to a 2020 study conducted by a professor at Florida International University. The town's officials said that the high-rise had been undergoing a county-mandated 40-year recertification process, which involves electrical and structural inspections. But reports also emerged about the cracks in the 12-story structure. Back in 2015, a resident sued the condo association for failing to fix the cracks outside of the wall of her unit. Then the owner, who nobody can seem to reach lately, said that the cracks led to water damage that cost 15 G's. The court documents noted that the cracks were a structural issue, so the association was liable for the cost. Then there's, of course, another lawsuit back in 2001, cracked walls, shifting foundations. Wouldn't that say something if your foundation decides to shift? Like, oh shit, that might be a problem. Maybe I should try to fix it.
I think we need to take a step further, man. We need to press charges, bro. That's right now. If you knew that shit was a danger pit, or you knew it was a death trap,
cover up.
I would say death trap because too many people died. Yeah. Your ass need to be brought in the court, man, and charges need to be brought up on you because there's a difference between ignorance and neglect. I'm ignorant that I don't know that the building was weak. It's my ignorance. But if you told me like, yeah, this shit's fucked up, and I choose not to do anything, doesn't that fall under the neglect category, man?